Uranium friends, global atomic. Let's have a look. So, weekly chart in log scale. Important that I say log scale for you right now, because we're going to switch to linear. And we're going to look at the different what the differences are and why I have some sort of I put a little slight amount of importance in it. But regardless of that, this is the weekly, very tight. I don't normally, sit around and get nutso with these triangles, but I wanted you guys to see it. So we're just going to zoom in a bit. We're going to extend it a little bit, and this is how you can see it. All right. So it's just tight. It's just getting very tight, and which we all know, right? So when we switch to linear, you got a very different look. Yes, it's very tight, but what we want to pay attention to here is the Fibonacci retracement. So when you're in linear scale in this weekly chart, we are just sitting right on top of the 50% retracement of this lifetime move, uh, the the very low to the very high of global atomic. So it's right smack in the middle of that lifetime range for the stock. It's building up a lot of nice support here. So this volume profile is really starting to dig in. But so just getting back to these Fibonacci. So you notice that we're sitting on the 50% retracement, but when we go to log, it's more of the 23% retracement. So we have some Fibonacci levels that are lining up um, in both scales, and sometimes that has some significance for me because again, it's levels that are going to come into confluence of support. So that's why sometimes I will switch back and forth. Normally, I'm in log scale for the most part, especially when looking long term. So again, we're going to zoom in here on this weekly, and it's very tight. Now, this thing can continue tightening up, all the way into September, perhaps. There is some thought about there is a financing overhang. They still need to raise capital for the Dasa mine. It may be that. It may be that. But, and I start to look at this when I'm looking at this volume, the volume down here, what stands out to me is two things. Well, yeah, the volume is declining. I mean, if we start to look here, we're definitely having some declining volume, but what is interesting to me is that to all of this, these past couple of weeks, all the way actually since February, looks kind of like accumulation to me. And what does that mean? Well, what do you mean accumulation? Well, look at all the green volume. It is far outweighing the red. So what's going on, in my view, because I'm doing the same exact thing, is that when we get to the bottom of the range, let's just say you want to build a position in this company and you want to try to keep reducing your cost basis while you're doing well. Okay, we'll just use the example of 100 shares. So when it gets to the bottom of this range, you buy 100 shares. And when you get a little move, a 10 or 8% move or something to that effect, you sell 50. When it comes back down, you might add another 100 and you might sell another 50 up here. So this whole range is exactly, it's very playable in that respect for accumulation. I am kind of doing it myself. And this volume indicates that maybe that's exactly what's going on here. Yes, we are waiting for some sort of word on this, the fact that Global still needs um, money for the DASA mine. So uh, that's part of it. But this is accumulation here. It looks like accumulation to me. We're starting to build a very nice base of support with the volume profile. We're on the 23% retracement on the Fibonacci for in log, and we are on the 50% retracement Fibonacci in linear. Again, with very nice buildup of volume here. So, I consider global like in the, well, I guess they call it orphan period, right? The Lassonde curve. So, I mean, I'm looking at DASA. I'm looking at global as somewhere in this area as far as I'm concerned. Just about to get into the development part, or actually beginning the development. So, I'm kind of looking at it here. I'm no mining expert, so if anybody thinks that I'm wrong here on this fundamental point, please point it out to me. But I'm kind of viewing global here. So it would make sense that you're seeing accumulation as far as the Lassonde curve is concerned. So that's the kind of the way I'm looking at it. So I don't know if anybody's talked about this at all, and I'm going to, uh, well, we'll leave them on for now, but I am starting to see what looks like to me a pretty nice inverse head and shoulders setting up here on the daily. Um, somewhere right around here as being the neckline around $3. Okay, so what's the, what's the measured move? Well, to get it, measured move off of this, so we're about 260 to $3. That gives you 40 cents, so you get about to 340, and it's going to take you up to this level here on the chart. So, let me just make sure my math is correct. 264. Yeah, 299. So, yeah. So, all intents and purposes, 40 cents from the $3 neckline can get you to 340. Yeah, some are going to argue that the neckline could be inverted, a little bit of an angled neckline here, or you want to use the top. I'm just kind of using the average of this section here and where this kind of topped out. So 340 gets you up here to this resistance here. You're probably going to get into some fights with the 200-day moving average, but that's what I'm looking at right now. Inverse head and shoulders on the daily. Um, sorry. Inverse head and shoulders on the daily with the measured move to 340, 200-day moving average above. Weekly looks like accumulation. I mean, that's what it looks like to me, and that's the kind of the way I'm playing it also. So I'm doing the exact thing that I pointed out. Was I'm buying the bottoms of these ranges, and I'm kind of selling half when I get to the top of the range. Now, if you'll notice, um, if you will notice, it's just this range has slightly moved up. So this new, you could also almost call this new line here around like 270, right? As opposed to what this was, which was about 260. So yeah, you have that little bit of a range expansion, and it has kind of started to peak out off the top of this range. So, these are the little things that we're watching now. Remember, this is just a weekly chart, so there could be a lot of time before that does that. Okay, so kind of the way I'm looking at global at the moment. Over and out.